Good afternoon there, friends and neighbors. Bobby here today. Hey folks, today I'm going to give you an update on our garden that we've had this year, our summer garden. So let's get started. Let's take a walk around. Let's see what's going on with it. Stay tuned. All right, friends, I'm taking you through my garden here. As you notice, I got Sammy out here, okay? I kind of let him have the run of the garden now. I don't know what he's looking for. He's looking for snakes or lizards or something, I don't know. Anyway, over here, guys, if you saw my last video, I planted some green beans, a second round of green beans. Notice I have none. I have nothing but weeds here. And back here, I planted some. I planted some back here, right where we had our green beans before, okay? And remember, we had our first crop of green beans was excellent. You know, we canned like 7 quarts. We froze probably 5 quarts. We gave away a bunch. We ate some fresh. I mean, it was a great crop of green beans. But I planted this second crop, and the rabbits come and got them. And man, that just took the winds out of my sail. I don't know. I let that get to me. That really tore me up. So I kind of have been sort of giving up on my garden this year, okay? But anyway, look here, we got okra. We're still getting okra. Look at these stalks of okra. This stuff must be 10 foot tall now. I mean, right here is as high as I can reach. And I can reach an 8-foot ceiling. I can put a hand on an 8-foot ceiling. So that's at least 10 foot tall right there. And look over here, our sunflowers are dead. They have died on us. Looks like something's been eating on the, I don't guess I get any seeds. I don't really know a whole lot about harvesting seeds off of these anyway. But anyway, what in the world is this here growing up? This is some kind of, I don't even know what this is. This is some kind of weed growing up here. It looks like it has beans on it. I don't even know what the heck this is. That's the first time I even noticed that. Anyway, over here where I have all my the cantaloupes and watermelons, you know, we got about probably 12 cantaloupes off of these plants, and probably about 4 or 5 of them were fit to eat. Some of them I picked a little too soon and they didn't have a whole lot of flavor to them. And here's our tomatoes. Now our little tomatoes here, the little cherry tomatoes, are still producing really well. They're doing really well. We got some pepper plants here that actually still have some peppers on them. We got a little watermelon growing up in here too. It don't look like it's gonna get very big. Anyway, guys, I've kind of given up on it this year as far as for this summer garden. I'm about ready to either plow it all under and mulch it real good for next year, or possibly plant maybe a winter garden of some collard greens or something. So anyway, this is this garden. I don't want this video to be too long, but let's walk over here to the little round garden. And I did plant some tomato plants here a few weeks ago, and they're doing pretty good. I haven't even staked them. I actually was just going to tie them up to the fence here. And we did plant some more cucumber plants, and they're actually growing along pretty good. I don't see no cucumbers on quite yet, but I have noticed that everything that I planted, I tried doing a second round of cucumbers, and it seemed like they didn't do real good over there in that bucket that I had them in. And anything that was still growing from the main garden got worms in it, okay? Started getting worms in the cucumbers and any squash that we had toward the end. So, guys, if you have any tips to help me out on that, I'd appreciate it. But anyway, the cherry tomatoes still are producing pretty good. As you can see, I'm about tired of eating tomatoes. I hadn't even been out here picking them regularly. I need to get out here and pick them good today. It ain't good to let food go to waste. Here's a little tomato plant. It's growing. Actually, it found its way up through the fence there. It's got some little tiny tomatoes on it. So we'll try to keep him living. We'll tie him up here and let him grow on up through here. And we might get a few tomatoes off of him. Here's one right here. Okay, this is definitely a Roma that's growing, okay? It's got Roma tomatoes on it. And that was one of the ones that I transplanted. One of the plants that I showed y'all. There's a video I have on here where I showed you how to kind of graft a plant off of a current existing plant, okay? Well, that one right there is one of them. And it's growing up there making some Romas. There's some big ones down there kind of low there. Okay, we may have the second round of tomatoes after all. Anyway, guys, let's go inside. Let's talk about all the good things that happened with the garden this year. Look over here, Sammy's eating something. Sammy, what are you eating over here? Did you find something to eat in the garden? What'd you find over there? I saw you chewing on something. I think he likes tomatoes. I know he'll grab them and carry them around the yard. I see him laying all over the place. But anyway, let's go in here. Let's talk about all the good things that happened this year, and then all the mistakes, I guess you'd call them mistakes, or things that I know that I learned this year that we'll try to do better next year. So let's go inside and we'll get the whiteboard out and we'll try to list all this stuff down. Maybe this will help you if you decide to grow a garden yourself, or maybe there's some people out there that are better gardeners than me, and y'all can send me some tips or make some comments down below and let me know what I can do next year to do even better. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. Let's go back here. I made a video of planting these pole beans, okay, that I grew along the back of the fence here. Planted them, oh, I can't even remember what month it was in now. It was after I'd already planted the green beans. But folks, there is not one green bean on these plants at all. I mean, there's some blooms, but I have yet to find one green bean. Oh, wait a minute, there's one. I say that, there's a nice looking green bean right there. Okay, well maybe they're just now starting to put on, I don't know. I'll have to check them a little bit, but I was kind of disappointed in the way these plants done. I think the rabbits kind of got some of the stalks, because remember I planted them on the outside of the fence, although the rabbits, we found out, could definitely get inside here because they took out my second round of green beans that I had planted. Anyway, I found one green bean as I walked down through there. That ain't gonna feed too many people. Anyway, very disappointed in that. We'll talk about this when we get inside the whiteboard. Let's get started. Let's go inside. All right, friends, we're back inside now. We're going to talk about the plants that we planted this year and how things went and some of the lessons that we learned this year through trial and error. So let's quickly go down the crops that we planted in 2019. We planted tomatoes, corn, green beans, squash, two kinds, zucchini and yellow squash, watermelon, cantaloupe, bell peppers, okra, cucumbers, lettuce, radishes, potatoes, and carrots, okay? That's everything that we've done this year, okay? So now let's quickly talk about the ones that did do well, the ones that didn't do well, the ones that I won't probably try to plant again unless somebody can give me some really good insight on it. I'll just mark through them, okay? So we'll start with tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes done pretty good. I've had better crops of tomatoes before. I remember back a long time ago, I lived in a little town called Indian Trail years ago in my 20s. And I had this garden with some tomato plants, and boy, we produced a ton of tomatoes back then. But anyway, they done okay. We were able to make some salsa out of some of the tomatoes this year. Our little cherry tomatoes are real delicious, and it makes a bunch of them. There's still a bunch of them out there making right now. Not too happy with Roma tomatoes because, and I've had this experience before in the past, where you get the bottom rot on them, and it seemed like I threw more away than I actually was able to harvest from. Corn did not do well. The squirrels ate my corn plants when they were little, so I marked them out. I don't think I will be trying to plant corn again, okay? I don't believe that I will do that. If I had a bigger garden, more land or something, I would try to maybe plant more corn, but for now, I don't believe I will try that again. Green beans, okay? First crop of green beans done really, really good. we canned 7 quarts of green beans. We froze probably 5 or 7 quarts of green beans, blanched them and froze them, put them in the freezer, and we gave away a lot. Gave my parents a lot of green beans, okay? And we ate a lot of fresh green beans. So green beans done really good. Now the second crop of green beans did not do very good. The rabbits ate my plants, okay? And it kind of sucked the life out of me and made me where I just kind of got disgruntled with fooling with the garden. I know I shouldn't be that way, but it kind of like just took the wind out of my sail, okay? But I'm not going to let that get me down for next year. I got some plans for that, okay? So green beans definitely is something we will plant again. Done very well. Squash, zucchini and yellow squash done very good. I canned squash. I gave away squash. I froze squash. I still have squash in, some canned ones and some in the freezer. So definitely will be planting squash. Now toward the end of the season, when the weather starts getting kind of hot, the worms will get into the squash, okay? So that kind of sucks, when that happens. And I tried planting a second crop of squash, and I just never did get nothing out of them. I got a plant out there now that I don't know if I'll get any out of it before November or not. So, I don't know. I can't really say if I'm going to have a good second crop or not. Well, I know it's not going to be as good as the first. The first was totally awesome. I mean, squash was a great producer this year. Watermelon, I will not plant watermelon again. The plant takes up too much space, and I only had 2 watermelons off of there, and one of them, they were small, and it tasted pretty good. It was an all right watermelon, but still the ones in the store or the people that bring them up from South Carolina, like down around Paisley area, and sell them on the street corner, they're a lot better than anything that I grew, okay? So I won't be fooling around with watermelon no more. It takes up too much space for what you get out of it. Now cantaloupe, I did grow some cantaloupe. It takes up a lot of space too, and I got about 12 cantaloupes growing on there. And I think I will try that again, but I won't put it in my regular garden. I think I'm gonna plow a spot behind my garden, kind of between the garden and the woods back there. And I will plow it up, plant it with seeds, and just let it grow wild. If it produces cantaloupes, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. I'm not even going to try to weed it or anything. Just let it grow and see what happens. So I will do that again next year, okay? But I'm not going to put them in my regular garden. I'll use other things that can make more food for us, okay? Bell peppers, the ones that I had done pretty good. I don't eat a lot of bell peppers, so that's the only thing. I only really use them in cooking, and so I don't really know if it's that much a necessity for me to actually grow them or not, okay? That's something I have to think about. Okra, I still have okra out there. For the area that it takes up, it has produced a lot of okra, okay? That stuff is 9-10 feet tall out there now, and it's still producing. I've already taken a lot of it already this year and cut it up and breaded it, and it's in the freezer. Just anytime I want some, I can go in there and get take a bowl of it out or whatever, and get a little bit of grease on the stove going, and fry up some anytime I want any. And I need to go out there and pick it now. So I will definitely grow okra again next year. I might grow a different type of okra, one that my dad was telling me about, that might actually taste a little better, okay? A different brand, I can't even remember the name of it now. Cucumbers, done very good. I wish I would have tried canning some or making some pickles this year. Maybe next year I will definitely try to do that with some of my overabundance of cucumbers, because we did have plenty there for a while until the worms started getting to them as well. Lettuce, did not do very well for me, okay? So I probably won't even fool around with that next year. Maybe if I can get it in the ground really early in a little area or whatever, I'll give it a try. Otherwise, I probably won't fool around with it. Radishes, I will not fool around with that again. Carrots, I will not fool around with that again. Potatoes, we grew potatoes in a big bottom of a barrel that was about this high. I think if you guys watched my other videos, you probably saw where I had those out there. They actually produced, because it's kind of funny, because I know I put it on Facebook. I took a picture when I finally picked it, okay? I spent like $3 on the potato seeds down at Walmart that I planted in there, and probably when I harvested, I guess is how you say, the potatoes, I probably had $2 worth of potatoes. If I went to the grocery store, I probably would have spent $2 for the amount of potatoes. So it's really not financially a good way of doing it, at least the way I've done it, okay? But I have done some research on growing potatoes, and I have learned a few things on that. I might try to grow them in a big 55-gallon plastic barrel next year with some cow manure and maybe some coffee grounds and some sawdust. I saw some people that were growing them that way and actually had pretty good luck with them. So I'm gonna give that a try, okay? Possibly. All right, so let's talk about lessons learned in 2019. I learned that squirrels eat corn plants, okay? Let me turn this around so you can see this a little bit better. Squirrels will eat corn plants, okay? And it's hard to keep squirrels out of your garden. I mean, I got a fence around it, but you're not going to keep a squirrel out of there, okay? Because they can jump, climb, do whatever. Rabbits will eat green beans, okay? I got a plan for that. I'm going to get some chicken wire, 3-foot wide chicken wire, and I'm going to go all the way around the garden with that on the outside of the weld wire fencing, and that should take care of the rabbit problem next year, okay? This year I learned how to can with a pressure cooker and the water bath method. Like I told you, we canned some green beans and some squash, and we water bathed, done the water bath method to make some salsa out of the tomatoes. Okay, I found out that bucket crops do not do well, okay? I did not have any luck at all. I planted a lot of different things. There's some 5-gallon buckets that I prepared earlier in the year. Even that little tub out there at the bottom of a barrel really didn't do that great either. So I probably will not do any of that next year, trying to grow anything in a bucket, okay? I think I've learned my lesson on that. Another lesson that I learned this year, actually I learned it from watching some YouTube videos. I always thought it was best to water in the evening. Actually, it's best to water in the morning, okay? Because sometimes if you water too much in the evening, that water sits on the plants all night long, and it can cause like some mold issues and stuff like that. I didn't have any of that problem this year, but they just say it's better to water in the morning, okay? So that's something I'll continue doing. I actually switched over to doing that this year. Roma plants have bottom rot, okay? I don't know if it's just me. I remember one time before when I planted them, I had that problem, so I probably won't be planting Romas again, okay? I'll probably definitely go back with the cherry tomatoes again, and maybe try to find some better boys or something like that. I might actually purchase some plants next year from a local nursery. Okay, plans for my next garden. This winter, I'm going to mulch the garden. I started a compost pile in the backyard where we've been using our food scraps and everything. I've got it going out there near a cedar tree. I'm going to shovel all that stuff into a wheelbarrow and take it all to the garden after I pull up all the plants. And we'll get leaves from the trees around here that fall in our yard. We'll throw them in there too. And we might go by the dump and actually purchase some mulch and throw all that in the garden, spread it around and till it up in the garden, and that'll be what we do to try to keep our soil fertile for next year. We'll work on that. I may have a little section in the garden where I plant some collard greens, okay? So we may do that here, and I'll make that final decision here in a few weeks, okay? And because I would like to have at least some greens growing over the winter time. And another plan for next year is don't make some of the same mistakes again, okay? So I'm writing all this down, I'm documenting this video in case I forget anything. I'm gonna go back and watch my video before I plant the garden next year to make sure I don't make the same mistake. Anyway, guys, if you have any tips at all for me, please let me know, okay? You know, I've gardened a little bit over my lifetime, but not like every year, you know, every year. I can honestly say this here has been the best garden that I've ever had. We actually got more food out of this garden, thank God, okay, because He blessed our garden this year so that we'd have food. And it's the best one I've ever had, okay? So, and I think next year we'll even have a better garden because of the fact that we will learn some of the lessons that that from this year, okay? All right, anyway, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please, if you have any tips for me at all, write them down below in the comments, okay? And I'll try to respond to them. I'm not too good at responding to comments, but I will try to respond to them. Or just know that your comment can help someone else who's reading the comments as well. Okay, so try to put some good information down there, some good sound advice, and hopefully it can help anyone who watches this video. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Take care.